You're watching Capitol View, Sunday morning talk focused on the political scene in Arkansas.
Welcome back to the program. Joining me now, Scott Hamilton, CEO of the Urban League of the State of Arkansas. Good to see you, my old friend.
Absolutely, Roby. Always a pleasure, man.
Nice
Enjoy
to
it.
have you with us.
Thank you.
All right, we got some serious subjects to talk through today. Let's start first with the Tyree Nichols murder in Memphis at the hands of the police officers in the Memphis Police Department there. You sat on a task force the last couple of years with former Governor Asa Hutchinson, who convened to really look at things that needed to be changed in terms of police brutality, police reforms, policing reforms. When you see what has happened in Memphis, knowing that this could have very well have happened anywhere in America, do we have solutions to the problem out there, or do you think this is an unsolvable problem?
So, yeah, Roby, I think, there's definitely solutions out there. Have we found them or have we implemented them? I don't think so. They're very difficult. You know, we talk about training, the issues that we see in policing, but it gets down to sometimes just pure respect for people. It's looking at other people and kind of putting yourself in that space. Why we haven't figured that out, why we still see these type of incidents, is a struggle. And the solution is it's out there, but I don't know that we've identified it or have been able to capture it.
Let's talk also about criminal justice reform. This is something that's going to happen at the state of Arkansas. Sentencing reform is coming at some point in time. I think we've got to get through education reform first. Is going to be the timing on that. But we're going to lock more people up for longer periods of time. I mean, that seems to be part of the solution here. We're going to help some people that need help in specialty courts, which I think is also a pragmatic solution there. And we're going to find some ways to educate and train some people so that when they come out, maybe the recidivism rate is not as great. When you're listening to some of the rhetoric right now, since we don't have a piece of legislation, what do you think is good? What do you think is bad in our effort to change what's happening in criminal justice?
Yeah, you know, I think that we really have to begin to look at the front end. We've got to keep people and get folks off that pathway because there is not a good end in any shape or form. You know, if it's extending sentencing, we've got to get rid of having a reason to put people in prison. We need to find ways on the education path where kids are finding options, things that keep them out of trouble. Now, on the back end of that, as you said, you know, longer sentencing guidelines, certain crimes, I think there are things that we as a society want to make sure that folks cannot come out and maybe repeat. Recidivism, we got to find ways, again, to make sure that folks have actual opportunities. So we got to look at what happens when someone gets out of prison, what options are available, what resources are we making available. So I think there's a lot deeper dive that needs to take place, but at least we're talking about it.
What is the Urban League doing to address the kids on the front end? I know that's where you spend a lot of your space and a lot of your time. What are y'all doing to provide options to people that maybe have that fork in the road and can go down the wrong path or stay on the right path?
So we're looking at the whole issue of what they call disconnected youth, and that's right now, you could say kids as young as 10 to 20, 22, and you can almost start to see trends and patterns when kids don't have something constructive to do with their time. For example, we've got a program in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club where we're teaching young folks how to fly drones. What kid doesn't want to fly a drone? But we've packaged that with teaching coding and also decision-making skills, where in order for them to be able to participate in this program, they spend a day in front of a computer and they're learning coding. So they're getting skills that are marketable, but it's also giving these kids something to do. Instead of getting out of school at the end of the day, they're excited about going to the Boys and Girls Club, they're enrolled in this class, and these are things that keep their mind and focus on something that's valuable rather than trying to just figure out what to do at the end of the day.
All right, thirdly, affirmative action has come up in the state legislature. Senator Dan Sullivan is pushing this bill, Senate Bill 71. I did an interview with him earlier this week. I know you've had a chance to see it. His bill basically ends some programs in higher ed and state government that are there to try to overcome discrimination and discriminatory practices and to, for lack of a better phrase, level the playing field for folks that don't start from the same starting blocks, basically. What do you think the consequences are if this bill passes?
So I think these consequences can be severe. I think it would have a huge detrimental economic impact for the state of Arkansas. When you look at companies, large companies that are here now, those that may be considering Arkansas, which is a wonderful state to do business in and to live, you begin to look at what we are doing with society. And if we're creating situations that do not, create an equity space and moving back to what folks are saying is equal, that's not the case, because people do have different circumstances. I think we have to look at specific circumstances that people have, and that's what affirmative action is. Affirmative action is not discrimination. It's put in place to deal with discrimination, and has been very successful. When we look at what the numbers are in terms of people in certain positions, we don't see equity. We don't see a balance. And there's a reason for that. And it gets back to that human factor. We're all different. We all have different backgrounds. We have different circumstances. And so in some cases, we have to do things to make sure that those are considered. And that's what affirmative action has been about. I think this particular bill has misconstrued and mistaken some of the thoughts of what affirmative action is. And I think we really need to spend some time to delve deeper into it and identify what the objective is from this bill and see if there's a better way to try to meet it.
Got about 15 seconds. Will you be up there testifying against it the next time it comes before a panel?
I will definitely be there.
All right. He's Scott Hamilton with the Urban League of the State of Arkansas. Always good to have you.
Roby, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
All right, we're back to wrap up after this.